Okay, how do adolescents select an occupation? So, paano nga ba nade-develop no, yung kanilang career pathing? So, we have two theories. So, this is according to Donald Super, no, yung kanyang theory of vocational choice. And we also have John Holland. Yan, yung kanyang RIASEC theory. Okay, so kay Super, in his theory of vocational choice, he proposes three phases of vocational development during adolescence and young adulthood. So we have crystallization, in which basic interests are identified, specification, in which jobs associated with interests are identified, and implementation, which marks the entry into the workforce. Alright? So, sa crystallization, dito, nakikita mo na kung ano yung mga interesado ka. Ano yung mga basic na skills that interests you. Halimbawa, mahilig ka sa arts, mahilig ka sa music, mahilig ka makipag-usap sa tao. So, yung hilig mo, yung interest mo, will also determine what occupation yung bagay sa'yo. And then, sa specification, ito na, makikita mo na no, kung ano ba yung mga jobs o mga trabaho na associated dun sa hilig mo o dun sa interest mo. Okay? And then, kaya yung sa ano, yung halimbawa sa senior high school, di ba? So, doon, dinedevelop yung mga interest. Kaya ka napunta sa STEM kasi ang interest mo ay science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Kaya ka napunta sa UMS dahil ang interest mo is about humanity, social sciences, di ba? And others. Sa implementation naman, ito na yung papasok ka na sa workforce. Ayan, gagamitin mo na yung skills na natutunan mo and also yung interest mo. Yan. Another theory is about John Holland's RIASEC theory. He proposes six different work-related personalities. Kasi sabi niya, each of us or each personality has uniquely suited to certain jobs. No? Meron daw itong nababagayan na trabaho, itong mga personality na to. So people are happier daw when their personality fits their job and less happy when it does not. So ano yung anim na personality? We have realistic, investigative, social, conventional, enterprising, and artistic. Okay, so personality type theory o yun nga yung RIASEC by John Holland. This is a view proposed by Holland that people find their work fulfilling when the important features of a job or profession fit the worker's personality. Kasi nga, may mga trabaho na ito kasi yung magiging buhay mo eh. Ito yung magiging vocation mo. So it means, mahabang panahon mo siyang gagawin. Kaya naman, nakita ni John Holland na importante na yung personality ng tao na yun ay fit no, doon sa kanyang trabaho o doon sa kanyang vocation para hindi siya manawa, hindi siya mapagod, or magtagal siya at maging satisfied doon sa kanyang napiling trabaho. Okay, here are the 6 personality types in Holland's theory. So we have realistic. These are individuals that enjoy physical labor and working with their hands. They like to solve concrete problems. And the careers associated with a realistic personality type are being mechanic, truck driver, construction worker. Because this work or this occupation involves manual labor. They use their hands. No, they use concrete object. They manipulate objects. Yan, kaya realistic. Okay? Number 2, we have the investigative personality. These are individuals who are task-oriented and enjoy abstract relations. So the careers associated with an investigative personality are scientist, technical writer. No? Ito yung mga trabaho na nangangailangan ng mga masusing or critically inclined activities. Yan, gusto nila mag-isip, mag-imbestiga. Yan. And then number three, we have social. These are individuals who are skilled verbally and interpersonally. They enjoy solving problems using these skills. So, careers, teacher, counselor, social worker. Ayan, so dito pala makikita na natin, no, if you are or if you have a social personality, then you are in the right career path. Okay? So, yan. And then we have also the conventional personality. Individuals who have verbal and quantitative skills that they like to apply to structured, well-defined tasks assigned to them by others. So these are the bank tellers, payroll clerk, traffic manager, etc. So meaning to say the conventional personality loves routine. No, they love or they like structured tasks, no? Yung merong sinusundan, yung merong standards. Yan. And, yun. So, yung mga trabaho na nababagay sa kanila is of course yung mga mostly, no, yung mga 8 to 5 type of job, no, yung mga medyo may routine na, no, yung mga medyo paulit-ulit na ginagawa every day. Yun. Kasi nga conventional. And then, kumbaga may rules, no? May mga standards yan. May protocol kung paano siya gagawin. So, kabaliktaran siguro ng conventional is yung artistic, which is wala namang rules, no? Bahala kang dumiskarte kung paano mo gagawin. Unlike sa conventional, meron kang sinusundan. Alright? And then, we also have enterprising. These are individuals who enjoy using their verbal skills in positions of power, status, and leadership. So, same with social, they are skilled verbally. Yun nga lang, mas iba yung sa enterprising because they are more persuasive. No? They are more like a salesperson. Kaya yung mga careers associated sa enterprising are business executive, television producer, real estate agent. Yan. So, you must have the persuasive power, no, para ma-convince mo yung buyer mo, yung client mo. Alright? Sa social kasi, medyo dapat empathic, no, you have the listening skill, yan, dapat naiintindihan ka at ikaw naiintindihan mo rin yung kausap mo. Alright? So, the last one is being artistic. Individuals who enjoy expressing themselves through unstructured tasks. Yun, sabi ko nga, ito yung kabaliktaran ng conventional. So, being a poet, musician, actor, and many more. So, ito naman mga personality types are not rigid, no? Pwede namang combination, like social investigative, conventional, or social investigative, or enterprising artistic social, no? Yung mga ganon. So, pwede namang combination. It's not like a rigid na kailangan isa lang yung personality na magpo-fall ka. Alright? So, that's it. What is the impact of part-time employment on adolescents? So, part-time employment, ito yung term na ginagamit kapag ikaw ay employed as a part-time worker. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka full-time worker, hindi ka full-time employee. Ikaw lamang ay nagtatrabaho doon bilang parang panandalian, pwedeng temporary, o kaya naman ay meron ka lang oras na inaalat doon sa trabaho mo. And just like for the adolescents, no? Kasi yung mga adolescents natin, sila yung mga katulad ninyo, mga college students, o kaya naman ay high school na nag-aaral pa, hindi pa tapos, kaya naman, nagpa-part-time sila ng trabaho. Yan. So, itong research na to ay United States na naman siya. So, I don't know if this is applicable also in the Philippines. So, sinasabi kasi dito na most adolescents in the United States have part-time jobs. Adolescents who are employed more than 15 hours per week during school year typically do poorly in school, often have lowered self-esteem and increased anxiety, and have problems interacting with others. So, sinasabi diyan na kapag siyempre mas marami yung oras na naka-allot mo for work rather than school, or mas, yun nga, mas madalas ka sa trabaho mo, kukonti na lang yung oras mo na maa-allot for school works. So, therefore, mapapabayaan mo yung pag-aaral mo. So, you will do poorly in school. Yun yung sinasabi dyan, yun yung implication ng research na yan. And of course, lower din yung self-esteem kasi nga, syempre nagtatrabaho ka, samantala ibang mong kaklase, nag-aaral lang sila, wala silang ibang inaasikaso, iniintindi kundi mag-aral. Samantalang ikaw ay dalawa, no? Nag-aaral ka na, nagtatrabaho ka pa. So, in a way, pwedeng bumaba yung tingin mo o yung worth mo, ng worth ng sarili mo. Yan, self-esteem. And increase anxiety, no? Yung lagi kang mag-worry kasi nga, yung schoolworks mo, papaano na, ano nang gagawin mo, pasahan na, hindi ka pa nakakagawa because of your work. And problems interacting with others also. Employed adolescents save relatively little of their income. Instead, they spend it on clothing, food, and entertainment, which can yield misleading expectations about how to allocate income. So, in my observations in the Filipino working students, I think adolescents are more like a breadwinner in the family, no? They provide the food on the table, they provide the money to be used for payment sa mga bills, electric bills, water bills, and also some of our working students are self-supporting students, di ba, na uh, they have work, they need to work in order for them to provide for their own allowances, no? For food, for transportation, for projects, yan, and other school-related finances. So, hindi lang naman uh, porke walang tuition fee ay napupunta lang sa mga leisure or uh, mga ibang mga parang pang-pleasure lang na things, no? Yung money or yung salary. Yan. Siguro yung iba, no, yung ibang nagtatrabaho, part-time workers or working students are like that, but not all. Alright? And then part-time employment can be beneficial if adolescents work relatively few hours. Yan. If the work allows them to use existing skills or acquire new ones, and if teens save some of their earnings. So, mahalaga na nakakatipid, no, nakakaipon din ang isang part-time na worker, na adolescent, no, in a young age, at such a young age, natututo na siya to value hard work and to value money na pinaghirapan mo, no, to not spend it all to other non-essential, no, objects or matters. And of course, you should know how to balance your work and school kasi dun magkakaroon ng problem kapag hindi mo na-balance yung time. Okay lang mag-work as long as you still can keep up with the requirements of the school. Yan. And yun, importante yung balance, no, kapag nagpa-part-time employment ka as a working student, right? And then summer employment, which does not conflict with the demands of school, can also be beneficial. Yan. Kaya iba, summer job, nagsa-summer lang sila, doon lang sila nag-work. And then when the uh, school starts, no, yung semester starts na, well, nagre-resign sila sa trabaho nila. So, para nag-iipon lang sila or they want just to work uh, to have other things to do during the summer vacation. Okay, so here are the three Ds of adolescent development. also known as the dark side. Dark side kasi medyo negative siya. Okay, so we have drugs, depression, and delinquency. So, ito yung tatlong D na kadalasan, no, na nangyayari sa adolescent development. Okay, so why do teenagers drink and use drugs? And many adolescents drink alcohol regularly. The primary factors that influence whether adolescents drinks are encouragement from others, such as parents and peers, and stress. Similarly, teenage smoking is influenced by parents and peers. So, in short, malaki yung ginagampanan ng modeling, no, observational learning from the parents sa family mismo, kaya sila natututong mag-inom at manigarilyo. And worse, gumamit ng droga, no, na ipinagbabawal na gamot. So, tulad nito yung sa drinks, no, alcohol. Mas ano siya, no, encouragement. Sabihin kung sa family ninyo ay okay lang na umiinom, ini-encourage yung pag-inom, so most likely the adolescent will also drink. And sa smoking naman, so kapag nakikita nila kahit bawal to, kahit hindi pwede, pag nakikita nila na ito'y ginagawa din ng kanilang parents or ng kanilang mga kabarkada, kaibigan, most likely din na gagayahin nila yun or gagawin din nila yung paninigarilyo. So, wala masyadong rason kung bakit sila naninigarilyo at nagdodroga. So, pangalawang rason is yung stress. Yan. So, stress is also a factor, no? Usually, halimbawa sa family, when the adolescent suffers from stress in the family, like being separated, divorce, undergoing a divorce, or a conflict in the family, or an argument in the family. So, most likely, the adolescent turn to drugs and alcohol, no? Just to relieve or to break away from the stress from home. What leads some adolescents to become depressed? How can depression be treated? Yeah. So depression is the most commonly experienced or felt during the adolescence period. So when we define depression, it is a disorder characterized by pervasive feelings of sadness, irritability, and low self-esteem. So in short, may mga normal levels naman ng sadness. But if it is pervasive, it's prolonged, it's persistent, no, then it can be considered as a disorder already. Depressed adolescents have little enthusiasm for life, believe that others are unfriendly, and wish to be left alone. Depression can be triggered by a negative event. Adolescents most likely to be affected are those who can control their emotions and who see themselves in a negative light. So maraming mga event na pwedeng mag-trigger, no, ng depression, like uh, sudden death of a loved one, separation of parents, conflict in the family, being heartbroken, no, break up with girlfriend or boyfriend can also trigger stress at school and other negative events that the person would perceive as negative. Okay? And then also, sino ba yung mga prone na adolescent? Of course, those who are cannot control their emotions, no? They are kumbaga nakokontrol sila ng sarili nilang emosyon, hindi nila kaya i-regulate on their own. Yan. And also, they see themselves in a negative light, meaning, yung perspective nila ay doon sila nakatingin sa negative aspects of themselves. Yan. So, yun yung mga possible, no, na nagli-lead sa mga adolescents to become depressed. Treating depression relies on medications that correct the levels of neurotransmitters. Kung ito ay organic by nature, if this is caused by uh, overproduction or less production of neurotransmitter, then medication could be considered. And also, therapy can also treat, no, designed to improve social skills and restructure adolescents' interpretation of life events. Yan. So, in short, babaguhin, i-modify yung kung paano mo ba ini-interpret or naiintindihan or tinitingnan yung isang situation. The third most frequent cause of death after accidents and homicide among U.S. adolescents or adolescents in the United States is suicide. Actually, this is also worldwide, no? This is the third or one of the top three, no? Uh, frequently cause of death nowadays. Especially now that mental health is also on the rise, it's quite trending, no? And suicide is more or less um, the outcome of many mental disorders that we have. And this can be prevented. This can be prevented if only we are more open, if we are more vigilant, you know, if we are more observant with our colleagues, with our classmates, with our neighbors, who we feel that there is something wrong. So we can do our own preventive measures to help those people na suspected, no, for suicide. Kasi suicide is, um, this is a choice, actually. This is something that is preventable because it, it, it's very unlikely or it's very rare to see someone na bigla mo na lang naisip na mag-suicide ka. No, it's very unlikely. Kumbaga, this is planned, more of a planned event. So it is planned, then therefore it can be prevented by any means. No, yun nga lang, kailangan mo lang maging watchful sa mga symptoms or signs, no, na pwede pala siyang mag-suicide. So, para ma-prevent siya. Yan. Kasi it started from a simple idea, no? Idea like what it feels to be dead. Paano kaya kung mamatay ako? Yung mga ganong ideas, thoughts. And then eventually, from thoughts, from ideas, it can lead to attempts, no? Yung mga attempts. Although not all self-harm behaviors are attempts, but it can be, okay? And then from thoughts to ideas to attempts, it can be completed. So it's very, ano talaga, kumbaga marami siyang dinaanan na process bago siya natuluyan. So it can be prevented talaga. So 10% report having attempted suicide at least once, but only 1 in 10,000 actually commits suicide. Yung iba naman, attempt lang talaga. Attempt lang talaga siya. But never completed. Pero syempre, iantayin mo pa ba na maging completed yun? No, dapat nandun na tayo sa attempt pa lang. Even in the ideas pa lang or thoughts. Yan. It's rare before 15 years of age. Actually, suicide is prevalent from 15 to 24 years old. So, yun yung age range na kadalasan maraming nagpapatiwakal. Yan. Far more frequent in older adolescent boys. Yan. Pero ito ay 2005 pa. Pero now, there is a research na maraming, yun nga, 15 to 24. And yes, kapag completed kasi, mas marami talaga sa male. Pero kapag mga attempts, mas marami ang female. And it is also prevalent in older adults also, sa mga elder natin. Yan. And depression is one frequent precursor of suicide. No? Frequent precursor. Ibig sabihin, siya yung parang nag-trigger. No? Siya yung parang naging dahilan para mag-suicide siya. Yung depression. But of course, there are many other causes. No? There are many other factors to be considered, not just depression, not just a single event. No? Kumbaga, nagpatong-patong na yun. It's very complex to decide which mostly contributed or which is the cause talaga bakit siya nag-suicide. Substance use is another. No? Right? Okay, so here are the common signs of suicide. So first, we have threats of suicide. Yan. So kapag meron na siyang mga sinasabi, no, nagpaparinig siya, paano kaya kung mamatay ako? Anong mararamdaman mo pag namatay ako? Mga ganyan. O kaya they have written suicide notes. Yan, na parang namamaalam. Okay, so yun, kapag bino-voice out, no, usually ganun eh, nagsasabi sila ng mga unusual or uh, random ano lang, talks about suicide, ganyan. So, yun. O kaya threat din talaga na, sige ka, papamatay ako. Pero not all, no? Hindi naman lahat. So, it's very important also how to discern which is true, which is not. Okay? But nevertheless, syempre, hindi mo, kumbaga, i-compromise, no? So, na antayin mo na gawin niya talaga. Syempre, nandun ka na kagad to prevent, to report, no, yung mga threats of suicide. Preoccupation with death. Yan. Ito rin, yung bang lagi niyang iniisip, no, yung mga what ifs niya, lagi niyang, ang bukang bibig niya lagi ay kamatayan, death, suicide, and all self-harming thoughts or things, no? Yan. Change in eating or sleeping habits. Yan. Ito, ano to, usual ito. This is very common. Nagbago yung ano niya, eating patterns and sleeping patterns, no? Either kain ng kain or hindi kumakain or tulog ng tulog or hindi natutulog. So, maalin doon, no, sa mga extreme points na yun. Loss of interest in activities that were once important. So, this is anhedonia. Yan, parang wala na. Kung dati, mahilig siyang makinig ng radyo, mahilig siyang magsulat ng kanta, ngayon, wala na. Hindi na siya nag-enjoy pag ginagawa niya yung mga bagay na dati nagpapasaya sa kanya. Marked changes in personality. Yan. This is also common, no? Yung biglang may nagbago. Parang nagbago siya. Parang there's something wrong. Kaya mapapansin mo talaga, if only you were that observant and vigilant, ma-observe mo talaga na, manonotice mo talaga yung difference. Alright? Persistent feelings of gloom and helplessness. Ayan. So, talaga namang araw-araw, lagi, most of the day, 4 days, 5 days, almost 2 weeks na talagang sad siya, gloomy, and parang feeling helpless, parang kawawang-kawawa, ganun. So, that could be also a sign or symptom. And giving away valued possessions. So, parang binibigay niya na yung mga bagay na importante sa kanya or valuable sa kanya or mamahalin or may significant ano sa kanya, sentimental value, ganyan. And then, suddenly, ito, ibinibigay ko na sa'yo. Bahala ka na dyan, ha. Mga ganong, sinasabi. So, yan. So, ito yung mga common. Of course, pwedeng meron pang iba, no? But these are the common signs of suicide. Okay, so what are the causes of juvenile delinquency? So many young people engage in antisocial behavior briefly during adolescence. So pag sinabi natin juvenile delinquency, from the word, yung juvenile pertains to young, no, mga bata na or mga individuals na wala pang 18. Yan, kaya juvenile. And then, pag sinabi naman nating delinquency, it pertains to bad behavior, no? Being antisocial in a way. Ayan. So, you do things na ah, parang anti people, parang ganun, delinquent, being, or having a conduct uh, problem, parang ganun. So, that is juvenile delinquency. So, meron kasing mga kabataan na tuwing, kumbaga, ano lang, very briefly lang, no? During the adolescence period lang sila delinquent. Pero, pagdating naman nila ng adult, hindi na. No? Nagbabago siya. Pero meron naman na mga kabataan na delinquent and then nagtutuloy-tuloy hanggang sa sila ay maging adult na. Kaya nga hindi mo po pwedeng sasabihin na meron kagad antisocial personality disorder yung adult na yon hanggat hindi siya na-diagnose nung bata siya na meron siyang conduct disorder. So, ganun yung antisocial. In contrast, the small percentage of adolescents who engage in life course persistent antisocial behavior are involved in one-fourth to one-half of the serious crimes committed in the United States. Okay, so ito ay, again, US-based pa din, no, yung research. Yan. So, yun yung tinatawag natin na yung life course persistent antisocial behavior, meaning talaga namang nagtuloy-tuloy. Okay, nagtuloy-tuloy yung kanyang pagiging delinquent, nagsimula nung siya ay adolescent hanggang sa siya ay maging adult, hanggang, ayun, nakakommit na siya ng crime. Yeah, kasi related to crime yung juvenile delinquency. Alright? And then life course persistent antisocial behavior has been linked to biology, no? Pwedeng namana niya yun, pwedeng nasa genes niya talaga, traits niya, pagiging sobrang aggressive, violent, hostile, and then cognitive processes, no, the way he thinks, no, the way he process thoughts, ganyan, ideas, being impulsive, and yung kanyang attention span, no, ay maigsi, pwedeng ganon, yan, part ng cognitive processes. And also, siguro part din yung pagiging creative, no, it can be, yan. And then family processes can also be a factor to consider wherein the adolescent belong to a dysfunctional family or a separated parents, no? And of course, poverty can also be a factor in juvenile delinquency. Yeah, because of money, no, financial reasons, the kid, no, the juvenile or the adolescent engage in crime like theft, um, hold up, may mga ganyan, pagnanakaw, and even murder if yun nga, if circumstances would allow. Efforts to reduce adolescent criminal activity must address all of these variables. So this is another ano din, no, point of view in the adolescence period. Yan. Alright, so for the last slide, these are just the terms to define. So when we say juvenile delinquency, these are when adolescents commit illegal acts that are destructive to themselves or others. Yan. And then adolescent limited antisocial behavior is the behavior of youth who engage in relatively minor criminal acts that are not consistently antisocial. Yun, parang yung kaninang sinabi ko, no, na there are, kumaga may limit naman. During the adolescence period lang sila delinquent, but it does not persist, no, until adulthood. Yan. And vice versa, you cannot be considered na antisocial or having an antisocial personality disorder if not unless you are diagnosed before, no, as a child having a conduct disorder. So, ganun siya, no? Adolescent limited lang. Kumbaga, doon lang siya naging delinquent, pero not all throughout the adulthood. And then life course, persistent, antisocial behavior, this could lead talaga to to being or having antisocial personality disorder. So, antisocial behavior that emerges at an early age and continues throughout life. So, nag-start from having a conduct disorder, no, during childhood niya, ayan, and then nagtuloy-tuloy, nung adolescent siya, ganun pa din, and then hanggang nung naging adult, ganun pa din. So, that could be diagnosed as having an antisocial personality disorder. So, nag-umpisa lang yun, no, naging destructive lang siya sa sarili niya at sa ibang tao din, lalo na sa ibang tao. Yan. Alright? So, that's it. The moving into the adult social world, the adolescence period.